back in the art room again this week, and I'm very excited about our new lesson. Today we're going to talk about still life. A still life is a work of art of a non-living, non-moving object. Artists loved to create still life because it was great practice. When you draw a person, sometimes they need a bathroom break, sometimes they are tired, want to get up, maybe need a snack. That vase with flowers right there is not going anywhere. I can take as long as I need to practice drawing and painting and observing. Another object that people like to create a lot of still life with is your bowl of fruit. And today that's what we are going to be. Today we are going to create a bowl of fruit with some pretty fabulous patterns behind it. And these patterns are called Zentangles. That's one of our vocabulary words. Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Samsel in the kitchen. And I'm in the kitchen because I have a bowl of fruit here in Mrs. Samsel's kitchen. I know I need to do a little grocery shopping, but I have a sweet potato in there, some bananas, a lemon, a lime, and an apple. And so a lot of artists have food in their house or flowers in their house, and so they'll draw from observation, from things that are still and not moving. That's what a still life is. For your Zentangle still life today, you are going to need a ruler, a pencil, eraser, a black marker for tracing. If you don't have a Sharpie, you can use some regular black markers here or even a black crayon, whatever you would like to color with. So go ahead and pause your movie, get your materials, and let's get started. Okay, I like to begin by folding my paper in half. So I have horizontal paper, folding it in half. This gives me a nice middle line to get my measurements. We are going to begin with the bowl. So I will put my hand on the left forefinger spaced out, a dot on that folded line. Repeat to the right side, 4 fingers, dot on the folded line. From there, I'm going to put my finger on the horizontal line and make a mark underneath it about the middle. It doesn't have to be exact. I will connect the dots to make the opening of my bowl. From here, I'm taking 3 fingers, placing a dot, and I'm going to connect it to get the shape. My curves aren't perfect, so then that's why we got that eraser. Making a bowl symmetrical or the same on both sides isn't always the easiest thing to do. Now to make the foot of the bowl, I'm going to put all 4 fingers. Make a dot and a dot, and I'm going about 1 finger above the bottom of my paper, and I'm just gonna make kind of a curve shape here and draw some lines. So now I have the bowl. I'm gonna add a little lip or edge to it. And from here I can start getting some of my fruit. So I'm going to begin with a lime. A lime has a nice oval shape. So I have a lime in my kitchen. If you have any fruits and vegetables there, you can always take some out and look at them from observation. This is why artists like to do still life. So when I see my lime shape, I see that it's round, it's oval, it's got some bumps on the ends that kind of narrow down, and it has some little dots. So I'm going to begin by having it inside the bowl. So I'm gonna cover up the bottom and think of just the curve of the top. And some dots. The next fruit I'm gonna add is my apple. And my apple, as you can see, has the stem inside. It again is round, and it has a indentation in the bottom, and that's what prevents it from rolling around. So you might wanna think of a nice round shape, and then you can tell with the indentation at the top that it goes in. So I'm gonna make a U, curve around, and get that brown stem, which has a circle at the top and looks kind of like a rectangle. So I have my apple, my lime. Let's see what else we have. I don't have a pear in the house, as I have in my example, so I will model how to draw a pear. A pear has a round shape and then what looks like almost like a square at the top. So I'm gonna make the round shape for my pear. And then I'm gonna put my finger on the top and I'm gonna go around it almost to trace it. And I'm not super close to my finger, I'm around the outside of it. So it has that curve. It too goes down for the stem. And I can erase that in there. Now, the next shape I'm gonna draw is a lemon, which is very similar to my lime. And that's just gonna kind of peek back there, a curved line. And I'll add some of the detail with the dots later when I get back my Sharpie. Right here, I'm gonna add you could add a small pumpkin, like our example, or you can add a banana. So in this example, I'm gonna show you a banana. A banana is long, it has a stem, and kind of has that curve to it. So when I draw a banana, I'm gonna begin by 2 fingers, and I'm just gonna kind of think of that curve and a rectangle on top. To get that detail, I take the rectangle and I curve down 1. I go in the middle, I draw a line 2, go on the top and draw a line 3. So to repeat that, I used at least 2 fingers. Again, never super close to the fingers, going out around them loosely. And then I added a rectangle shape. Once I got it, I went from the top of the rectangle all the way down for the curve for line 1, line 2, line 3. Now that I have my fruit, I'm going to add a leaf like I did in the drawing in my example. When you go to make your still life, you do not have to use the exact fruits or vegetables that I did. You can kind of come up with whatever you have laying around the house to observe the shapes. You can use what I have, whatever works. Now we get to add the Zentangle patterns and start tracing. When you do your Zentangle patterns, if you would like to, you can go straight into the marker. If you are worried about mistakes, you can continue on in pencil. I'm gonna go ahead and start tracing my fruit and then get ready for the table.
Okay, so I have the still life with my bowl of fruit, and I'm gonna take my ruler, laying it horizontal. I'm using my ruler for the straight edge, and I'm holding it down tight, picking it up over my bowl. Everything underneath here is gonna be my table. Everything above it will be my Zentangle background. So I'm gonna make a Zentangle for my table. You can come up with any patterns, lines, or shapes. Okay, so you can see I have my table done. When we go to make our patterns in the back, I would come up with different sections. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different sections of patterns. I would get your design first and see how it's spaced out, and make a goal to have 5 to 10 patterns. You don't want less than that, you don't want more than that, or else it'll be way too simple or way too complicated. So I'm just gonna begin with my ruler and dividing up my sections for different patterns. So I have 1, 2 in the background. So that means I have to have 2 different Zentangle patterns. So I cut up my sections. Let's count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that fits in the 5 to 10. And in each section, I'll come up with a Zentangle that I can either use from the paper or come up my own. A pattern is a line or shape that repeats. So once I have one pattern, I want to think about the next section and coming up with something that is different. I don't want to do just a wavy line next to the zigzag or else it'll be the same. So, and this is not very solid. So over here, I'm going to take my time and color a little bit more of a solid pattern. And you might notice the Zentangle patterns can take a little bit of time. I don't want you to rush through this. I don't want you to scribble. a lot of people actually look at Zentangles as a way to relax. It is a stress-free activity for them in coloring and just meditation, repeating a pattern over and over again. You guys are having a lot of screen time right now, so take the time, take the break, work at your own pace. You don't have to get it all done in one sitting. Maybe you work a little bit on it today, come back tomorrow night, or when you need a break from the screen and make another pattern. So you can see the difference here. I have that solid checkered compared to just the light. So I'm going to keep going with my patterns. So you'll notice with some of these patterns, they're going to go off the page. This one I'm using rectangles, and every time I make a rectangle, it goes past the last rectangle. This pattern is going to be the beginning of an optical illusion, the one I used over here in the example. So I start with a center point in my section, and I just made what kind of looks like lines coming out of it, kind of like the beginning of a spider web, except I'm going to have a pattern where the curve is like an N or a rainbow, and then this curve is in the other direction like a U, and I'm going to repeat. So this one has to be the U. The N. And then I have to kind of look at the direction and change it. So whatever, this one's curving up, this one will curve down. Opposite directions. Okay, so now I have my Zentangles. I definitely recommend going straight into your Sharpie or your black marker to create your Zentangles. That would have taken a long time in pencil, and then thinking, okay, I have to go back and trace everything. Even if you make mistakes along the way, you just keep at it and keep adding patterns until the drawing is complete. Now all I have to do is color the fruit. So you can color in crayons or marker. So when coloring, I like to outline this shape first, and then I can go in and color. can see on an apple that it's not just one solid color. There's some color changing, some difference in value. There's areas where the apple is lighter and areas where it's darker. So if you would like, you can, play around and mix colors. With the pear, I'm going to do the same thing, adding some yellow and then building it up with a light green. And getting a nice dark green. When I'm coloring in larger areas, I like to color in the same direction. If I'm scribbling all over, in different directions, you're gonna see that. You can see that I'm going up and down. And I outline to help keep inside the lines. Following the shape of the bowl. And there you have it. So here is my finished example in crayon. Here is another example in marker. And yet a different example in crayon. So your choice, crayons or marker. I can't wait to see what you create.